Hey guys! So there's a lot of surprising places in the world where life is significantly different from ours. Everyone knows that Africa is just endless savannas and deserts with lions and giraffes and gazelle. And you might know about the equatorial rainforests with monkeys and parrots where foreign tourists don't usually go so frequently because it's really humid and of course there's all those blood-sucking insects. But not everybody knows that Africa has a more humid, hot, and unfriendly place unknown to most people. It's the grandiose Sud Marsh in South Sudan. A surprising ecosystem with small islands among the water, with happy people living on them. So Sud is one of the largest marshlands in the world. And its size really varies. During the rainy season from April to September, it increases from 12,000 square miles to 50,000 square miles. That's bigger than Bangladesh, where 165 million people live. The Sud is in the White Nile Valley, part of the Nile River in South Sudan. Now, the slope is quite small here, so the river flows very slowly. So the White Nile flows into a large area without defined coasts. Now, the marsh was an obstacle for people traveling along the Nile for many centuries. And researchers trying to find the river's source had only a few chances to cross it because it just was simply too dangerous. Not to mention, swamps have a lot of crocodiles, the air is filled with various blood-sucking insects, and the landscape changes right before your eyes. So that all makes a boat crossing kind of difficult. Only the most stubborn people were able to cross it in 1858. The region does have some amazing fauna variety. There's about 400 species of birds, including pink pelicans and kind heron. Additionally, there are about 100 species of mammals, including antelopes that, get this, eat wild rice. There's of course also an abundance of vegetation, including reeds, cattails, and papyrus in the swamp. Now, when floods happen, some of the plants get broken. This will cause floating islands that can be up to 18 miles long. These islands are short-lived and quickly break apart. So, here's the question: who would want to live in such challenging and unusual conditions? Surprisingly, there are people that want to. The Sud Swamp is inhabited by groups of native peoples called Nilotes. Due to the always present natural barrier to outsiders, a one-of-a-kind ecosystem developed here where the Nilotes live like nobody else in the world. Their homes are on small plots of land and look like round huts with conical roofs. The walls are made of reeds and are covered in a mix of manure, thatch, and clay. Now, they do need to rebuild these homes every 5 or 6 years. Nilotes travel across Sudan on wooden boats. Now, there's no way to moderate or expand a herd on a large scale in the swamp. Additionally, several residents are able to create miniature gardens near their huts or raise goats, while other plots grow maize and beans. Overall, the swamp residents eat fish, of which there are plenty. Moreover, the fishers find fish so large that sometimes they need help carrying them home. And dried fish is the Nilotes' main sold good. Now, there are no cities, but there are separate villages and tribes that are made up of 20 or 30 homes. And life in the swamp, as you can imagine, is kind of difficult and dangerous. Malaria-carrying mosquitoes breed in the stagnant water alongside a huge number of various parasites. And when there are more of these than usual, then they leave the swamp and cause an epidemic in southern and eastern Africa. Now, despite all the negatives, the Nilotes love their home, and they don't want to move to other cities or villages. A significant number of the Nilotes are devout traditional believers. They prefer to live like their ancestors did for hundreds of years, and they keep their wooden idols of their personified gods in their huts. The main god is Dangdit, or the god of great rains, who is considered the creator of the swamp and the people living in it. There's even a custom of sacrificing farm animals to the gods by the best hunter in the area. Now, according to the Worldwide Fund for Nature, the said swamp needs international protection. There's a chance that the swamp may sometime disappear, forever, because of the Jonglei Canal being made by Egypt and Sudan. Now, the project is currently on hold because of unending conflicts and other difficulties, although since the early 1970s, 150 of the planned 224 miles have already been completed. This construction is continuing because the African population is getting larger, people are living richer, and are eating more and more, so they need fresh water. Now, the fact that there's a huge swamp that simply evaporates into the air is considered extravagant. Now, the plan is to resend the water to Egypt while drying out the swamp. If this comes to pass, the Nilotes will probably have to move to some dusty city where they will have to look for work, and sooner or later will blend into the masses of other faceless people in and around the slums. They may be lucky by being able to grow rice near their former home. They'll build one ethnic village where the residents will dry fish remains for souvenirs for tourists, while only thinking about how to get more money from them. Because, that's what usually happens. So we can kind of hope that the Dark Continent will find some sound minds and that the world community will be able to help out the swamp and its two-legged, four-legged, and feathered inhabitants. And so they'll be able to stay. Well, that's all for today. I hope you liked the video. Be sure to let me know if you learned something new. And we'll see you again next time.